Robert Zinni here from Five Senses. Today our guest is Bill Lynam, author here in Prescott to promote his new book, Shorty Handling Dog. Bill is an award-winning author from the Arizona Authors Association, and I'm really excited to hear about his stories and how he developed his writing. So sit back and relax. Hello, we're back at Five Senses. Our guest is Bill Lynam, author, Prescott local. How you doing, Bill? It's good to see you.
Good, Benny. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're here to promote some of your new books, but if our audience doesn't know about this, you've been an author for a while. Bill is from New York, so my home state. So I always love meeting new people here from New York. So
And it's good not to be there today.
exactly, it's snowing there. So before we begin about your new book, what inspired you to become an author?
Well, I've been writing forever. I taught at New York adult education, and I wrote textbooks and mostly nonfiction. And when I got out here, we've been out here for 22 years. Tried golf, that didn't work. Yeah, and then I flew with the Civil Air Patrol for 14 years. And when I got done with that, I said, I got to do something. So I also volunteered at Charlotte Hall Museum and wrote Days Past stories and fixed up probably 30 or 40 for other people. And they're usually published on Sunday in the Courier. Other than that, then I just segued in. I had a manuscript from that was 50 years old that needed to see the day of light. And that was my book, The Footloose Pilgrims. And it basically talks about a moped trip that my brother and I took around Europe, North Africa, and South America.
Really? So how was that trip?
Forever. I took a year off from college, and that was fantastic. We got to see the world in a way that no history book will ever. And then what I did is I took our journal and then supplemented it, going back because we buzzed through an awful lot of country. Mm-hmm. And so that was a fun project.
Nice. And so is it like a journal about you and your brother's experiences?
Yes,
in it?
right.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, we hit about 30 countries.
What was your favorite country?
Greece. I took Greek in high school. Wanted to try out my Greek. It didn't work. But it was fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Italy was the most. They used their hands a lot. The wine's good. We loved ourselves. Loved it there. We had some interesting incidents in Naples where they would steal your pen or your. It was just kind of a crazy situation, but it was like totally new being from the Northwest and actually going to Europe was for the first time. So. It was our Hajj, if you will.
Well, that's an interesting book. That's exciting that you were able to journal all your experiences through Europe. And so your other books, they come from stories from your family, or how do they come about?
My grandmother. My grandmother used to write a short story about foxes, or a fox. Mm-hmm. And it wound up, I edited it, and my grandmother's name was Ellen Maroney, and then I had Russ Miller do the illustrations, and actually Russ has illustrated all of my books, except Footloose Pilgrims.
Okay.
So I really get along with Russ. Russ has a great capability of doing animals, and it has his caricatures are beautiful.
Yeah, and if you ever seen him do bugs with stink bug,
well, stink bugs in Five Senses, every issue.
No, I wondered when I first met you a couple years ago, I wonder who was doing your illustrations because I knew Russ at the same time. So it's great that you have that open collaboration going too.
And Russ is local, which is great.
Yeah. And when I interviewed Russ, I didn't realize that Prescott had like a animating studio for a while. And my brother is getting into comic books, and he had a random comic book he sent me the other day, and it's like made in Prescott, Arizona. And he's like, "Is it still there?" I'm like, "No, that like washed up in the early 2000s." So. Okay.
Interesting.
So the Fox book, what is that about?
It's basically it's a little fox who it's kind of lonely, so he went looking for another red fox, and red foxes were hard to find, but he found I guess that there's no we don't mention the sexuality of the red fox that he finds, but they're partners, whatever, and they go on a trip up to Canada, and they find I think it was black foxes, and there's a little contention there, but when they're there, they kind of get in trouble because they rescue a frog from underneath a frozen pond, and he rewards them with some gold. Well, some of the locals up there see these foxes with gold, and they want to get the gold, so it creates a little conflict, and so they escape from the gold, and they escape from the bad guys, if you will, get back to the home farm in the U.S. As the little fox Tina says, this gold isn't any good for us. We can't buy it, sell it, eat it, do anything with it. Let's give it to the farmer who's been rewarding them with a nice place to stay. So that's what he did, and that's the end of the story.
Nice. Okay.
I gave it all away.
This one, Steampunk Mashup, a collection of Victorian adventures. Like, just based on the cover, this is pretty provocative. So what's this one all about?
Well, it's a young Icelandic lady who works with an engineer in London to come up with what they call a foot caddy. This is to do everything for your foot. And she has this machine built, and as a result of it, she becomes she moves to England and becomes a grande dame in the order of something or other.
So where did that story originate from? Where was the inspiration for that?
out of the blue. That was the most fun book. It doesn't sell very well, but it was a lot of fun. It originated in a class taught by a Miss Kaufman, who teaches in the creative writing department. And she gave a class in steampunk, and I wrote so many stories for the class. I said, can't just let them die. And so we put them together in an anthology.
What's like your jive when it comes to writing? Do you like the anthology part where it's like, all right, cool, here's a couple of short stories, or do you like to write like a long narrative? Like, what's your preference?
Basically short stories. Yeah, I've written a lot of short stories. They've been published in the best short stories published by the Arizona Writers Group, it's by Arizona Writers, but published by the Central Arizona Writers Club, and in about 6 different books, and probably have 5 or 6 short stories in there.
Nice. So when you were growing up, like, who are some of your favorite authors that you kind of like still?
John D. MacDonald.
Okay, and who is John D. MacDonald? That might age me, so.
John D. MacDonald, he wrote the Travis McGee series about a bum not a bum, but.
I like the word bum. You can say bum.
Well, he appears to be a bum, but him and his economist buddy always solve a problem, and somehow the girl always winds up with Travis. There's 20 books in that series. So I like trash thrillers, stuff like that.
Trash thrillers, like that. That should be your new genre, trash thrillers.
Penny Bloods, stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm very eclectic. I'm trying to think of the Ginger Men by P.J. Donlevy.
Okay.
Was a fantastic book. And that kicked off he had a whole series of pubs called the Gingerman. And although he's an American, he went over and bought himself a castle in Ireland so that he could become an Irishman.
An Irishman, a pseudo king, maybe?
A pseudo king. Sounds right.
That's a good story. A businessman goes to Ireland
and not to mention Miller, the topic of your cancer, corn, topic of cancer.
Oh yeah.
We had to read Lady Chatterley's Lover, all the banned books, and which reminds me, they're trying to ban books like crazy nowadays, and we have to push back.
Why do we have to push back of banning books? Why?
We need to get more literature out there and not water it down, Bowdlerize it, to turn it into sop. We need literature that reflects reality, and unfortunately, they think that the world has to be made to appear nice and soft and regular. I think we need reality, more reality, if possible.
Because what you're talking about is the facade of society, in that, because I work at a school, and we don't have any issues about people wanting to ban books, but when you hear in the greater narrative of America about people banning books or parents wanting to ban books, your kids can find worse content on the internet now than a book that is proofread,
absolutely.
What do you call it? It is approved by a board. Yeah,
more mayhem on TV than you'll ever find in a book.
Exactly,
because it's not only verbal but it's visual, and it has much stronger impact.
And I just want to comment on the whole banning of books. That's what the Nazis did. And again, whenever you want to change society, you censor something, you get rid of the books. Therefore, people don't get to see the or read their world views or different views that may contradict yours. And with banning books, it's actually against our freedom in America, if you ask me. And again, that's your free will. If there's a book that maybe is thought-provoking that may go against your norms, that's okay, So I don't get this whole trend of wanting to ban books.
Well, what's interesting about banned books, it actually increases the demand because you're curious, why are they banning this? It's got to be good.
I've always wanted to get my hands on the Antarctic's cookbook, but I guess I'd go to jail if I did that.
I have a copy if you'd like to borrow it.
Yeah, is it going to teach me how to be not an American?
No. I keep it around because maybe I can use it in a novel or something.
Oh, okay. Some source material.
It gives you authentic how to blow people up. not that I want to. It's just that here I have. It's part of my research library.
Okay, I like that. That. No harm in that. It's like Fight Club, learning how to make soap, but you're making bombs, right?
Yeah.
So your latest book that we're promoting is Shorty Handling Dog. So what's Shorty Handling Dog about?
Well, it all started when I started writing about 8 years ago, and I know that I have to. You may as well try and do something that the public's interested in. And what's more popular than cats and dogs? Well, there's the dog book, and now I'm working on a cat book. But Shorty started by researching what books are out there about dogs, and then I go down to the Friends of the Library, and I buy every one of those 2-bit Friends of the Library dog books and see what's in there as part of my research, and as well as what's on over at the Paragon and different stores. And then I have to come up with an idea. Well, I knew I wanted some extraterrestrial type of dog who comes down to Earth. Well, Shorty has a problem in his home planet of his head, and there's holes are appearing on the planet. They don't know why. And I think it's because they're using too much UL. UL would be like water for them, only it's something else. It happens to be UL is French for water, spelled backwards.
Okay.
In fact, all the strange words in there are just American words spelled backwards.
That's awesome.
And anyway, he hooks up with his parents sent him to another planet, Fist, out to an obedience school just to get him away from the holes that are developing. Shorty's said that all the dogs on Zid are just too intelligent to go to obedience school. So they bug out of there, and he takes his buddy, he meets their home. They actually meet in the detention kennel because they got in a little trouble.
Oh, okay.
And Shorty's not a great dog. He's a great dog, but it's not. He's still a little nervous from all these holes that were developing and said. Anyway, and he drops his buddy off in Fist, and then he takes off. He wants to go looking around to find different planets to find out if he can find a solution for all these holes. Well, he sees this. He gets around he sees the space station, and he says, "I got to check that out." So he knocks on the door, parks his bike, knocks on the door, and they let him in. And he hits it off immediately. And they said, "Would you like to come down to Earth? And we'll give you a ride down on the next cargo plane, whatever, rocket." And when he's up there on the space station, he's televised down to Earth, and a little girl in Chernism, Ohio, had just lost her dog Astro. She wanted, and she saw Shorty. And she says, "I want Shorty." So when Shorty gets down there, unfortunately, the feds start and want to probe his space bike. They want to check him out, and then finally he says, "I'm tired of this," and he bugs out. He goes to Chernism. He wants to find this young girl, Ava, and when he gets there, he gets into more trouble. The dog catcher is after him. And then the feds are following, and but he does a good thing. He finds Astro, the dog. They had the mad dog catcher, and he releases all the dogs from the compound, and he's done his good work, and he's back in his rocket, and anyway, and then he takes off and continues on his trip.
Sweet.
He's a very interesting dog.
Good. So you got sci-fi for all the dog lovers out there. That's good. Plus, Shorty's pretty cute. He kind of reminds me of Russ Miller. Did he make it a caricature of himself with the mustache? Yeah.
Russ did a beautiful job with that.
Beautiful.
It's sort of based on a Golden Doodle.
Golden Doodle? Oh, yeah. Golden Doodles are cute. I know a few friends that have that. Bill, thanks for coming on our show, talking about your books. Where can our audience find your books?
Well, take a look at the Purple Cat over in the, I guess it'd be the Fry's Mall.
Okay.
Shelley over there has been one of my best. It's also on Amazon and Kindle. I'm on in some other bookstores as well. And but basically, you can catch it online or call me.
All right, call Bill, everybody. Well, it was a pleasure talking to Bill about his books. Definitely get that in your reading of 2022. Without further ado, everybody, this is Robert Zinni signing off of another episode of Five Senses. Check us out on 5ensesmag.com. Like us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.